I wanted to ask you, I've seen and published an email from instructing UN system staff, in this case at WFP, to not participate in any variations of the Women's March that's planned for tomorrow in Rome and around the world, and citing UN ethics or impartiality rules as the reason to tell staff not to participate. So I'm wondering, how can it be that that you know, all levels, including lower level staff, are being told not to do this when you have Undersecretaries General attending an election night or promoting an election night event with Samantha Power? So what are the rules that apply, and do they apply to all staff members equally?
Well, you don't actually have the latest information. That ruling has shifted and in just the last few minutes I've received the following email from Ertharin Cousin regarding participation in the Women's March. I'm not going to read the whole thing in full, but one of the things it says is the event in Rome is one of many marches being held around the world. As many of you have reminded me in the last few days, being a WFP employee does not mean that you have to give up your personal political views or national perspectives. I therefore have no objection to your participation in the march. This is from Ertharin Cousin.
So I called WFP about an hour ago, so this obviously happens after that, but the email was by their ethics office. So I think clearly the two communications show that there are different interpretations of how these rules apply. And what I'm wondering is, I'd like your opinion of whether an Undersecretary General attending an election night event by the now outgoing U.S. ambassador is consistent with the type of impartiality that you described.
Obviously, each event has to be studied in its own rights. Regarding this, I did check with our own ethics office about these particular marches that are taking place in different locations around the world tomorrow. One of the things that our ethics office has said is the following: taking part in a march to promote women's rights and attempting to make a difference in the civic life of the community is not necessarily inconsistent with a staff member's status as international civil servant, nor is it in contravention of their oath of office, provided that such participation take place strictly in a personal capacity with no reference to UN affiliation.
Sure, and I agree with that. There's actually a ruling by a staff union saying that people should be able to do it. I just want to, I guess maybe you can ask, since you asked the ethics office, can you ask them whether an Undersecretary General attending in Waldorf Towers an election night event sponsored by Samantha Power was consistent with those rules?
Like I said, I wouldn't characterize any particular incidents. Obviously, every staff member is free to check with the ethics office, and we believe that they ought to do so.